Now WPTV political analyst Brian Crowley. Thank you as always, my friend. First thoughts.
Well, you know, your interview was really great, and I think we got a lot of important information. But the one thing I wish all of the candidates on both sides would do is, you know, they talk about how strongly they feel about the issues, but when you get to Congress, there's 435 people there. In order for anything to get done, you have to be able to talk to the other side. You have to be willing to compromise. And I think we need to hear a little more of people willing to talk to the middle, to do what the Founding Fathers intended, to bring us all together, to reach an agreement on issues. Because being strident, which happens a lot on both sides, let me emphasize, being strident all by itself really doesn't get us anywhere.
As you've done for so many years, always putting the perfect bow and emphasis on what all of us need to be talking and thinking about. Briefly, before we move on to the races that aren't for the White House this year, Harris Walls, they had surrogates here in South Florida, in fact in front, and I think we have footage in front of Mar-a-Lago the other day, their reproductive rights tour. But we're not going to see a lot of Harris Walls, maybe very little at all, because Florida's really out of play. There you see the bus in front of Mar-a-Lago. Dems keep insisting we're in play here, but your reality on the ground here in Florida as we look at November.
You know, this is all about all the other races. There's a lot of belief among Democrats in Florida that with the abortion amendment on the ballot, which will require 60% of the vote to pass, that they'll be able to bring over enough pro-choice Republicans, pro-choice independents, and pro-choice Democrats to help push the amendment forward. If they get a big turnout, there's some thought that that will help with down-ballot races, and that maybe the Democrats can pick up some important seats in local and state races. We'll see. There's no certainty about that. The Republicans are pushing back on Amendment 4 really hard. And frankly, I don't think it would hurt if Kamala Harris and Tim Walz would make at least one trip to Florida before Election Day. Not so much to help them win the state, which seems less likely, but to help with all the other candidates who are running and to perhaps build the Democratic Party in Florida for the future.
I can't let you go without your take on the upcoming debate, but I want to keep the focus for a moment again on something you've talked about. We focus so much on the White House, but ultimately the legislation, the sausage is made in the House and Senate about things that affect your pocketbook, that affect you in so many different ways. And that's going to be just as interesting a part in Florida and elsewhere of what we see this fall.
Well, if you look at the legislature itself, you know, the Republicans have held a super majority. So Democrats going to Tallahassee is mostly just to visit and watch what's going on. They don't have the votes to accomplish anything. However, if they pick up a handful of seats around the state, at least in the state house, they would then have at least an opportunity to block the super majority. They'd be able to help push some compromise, perhaps on issues that might require a 2/3 vote. So that's what Democrats are sort of counting on now with the legislature.
And then congressionally, it's really kind of the same style of argument, depending on who ends up with control of the U.S. Senate or the House, which is going to be tightly contested. It's going to be a pivot point for what a president can do, whether it's he or she.
You know, it's always, I think, sort of a good thing when at least one chamber is controlled by the opposition party to the White House, because it sort of forces compromise if you want to get anything done. And I think being able to talk to each other and compromise is becoming increasingly important as we, as I said earlier, get a little too strident sometimes in our politics.
You've covered everything, local, state, and national politics. I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about the debate 2 days away. Trump-Harris or Harris-Trump, depending on your point of view.
The first big debate I covered was Ronald Reagan and George Bush in New Hampshire in 1980, which may be dating myself a bit. You know, this debate is very more important, I think, to Kamala Harris than it is to Donald Trump.
How so?
Unless Donald Trump does something that was so off the wall that people are dropping their jaws, I just don't see him doing anything unexpected. Kamala Harris, she hasn't had any real interviews to speak of. She's had one. You know, outside of the convention
one
and her
interview
rallies,
with Tim Walz.
You know, there hasn't been a lot of Kamala Harris being challenged about things. So I think this debate is probably more important for her, because if it doesn't go well, some of the enthusiasm might fade.
Brian, as you look, and I ask you this often, but for our regular viewers, they hear this a lot in our Q&A, but for those who may be joining us and haven't been with us regularly, a final thought before break about just the context you want to put around it. We're deep in the middle of it now, all the way up to Election Day. Your thoughts?
Well, I think, I think voters need to educate themselves a lot on issues that are important in Florida. I think they need to start telling candidates enough with crazy talk and extremism. We want people who really do get things done, and you get things done in Washington or in the state legislature by compromise and working together. And I think we need voters to demand more of that.
We'll come back with your closing comment. As always, thanks for hard-won political eloquence built over more years than you and I would account at this point for either of us. Back with one of the best in the biz, Brian Crowley, in just a moment.